This may be one of the most realistic depictions of a dinosaur ever created, and it's because it's based off of two new mummies, and these mummies reveal quite a bit about the soft tissue of the dinosaur. These fossils come from an area in Wyoming called the Mummy Zone. They have found Triceratops mummies. They have found some actual T-Rex that has a little bit of the skin impression around the bones. And there's lots of Edmontosaurus. It's mainly Edmontosaurus mummies. The two recently described ones are both younger individuals. One was around 2 years old, one maybe 5 or 6. And with this individual right here, you can see that this impression of the sail running down the back was preserved. They compared it to the Doria's angle-headed lizard, which I'll be honest, I had never heard of this lizard before. I'll show a picture. It's actually a really incredible animal. And then I just think this section from the paper just sounds incredible. Reptilian biped with hooves. Think about that. A reptile that walks on 2 feet and has hooves. That just sounds so bizarre. Their hooves most resemble a rhino's feet to me, but it's really interesting because mammals, they evolved hooves after the asteroid. All mammals with hooves we know of, they occur in the Cenozoic, and they also evolve those hooves when they're relatively small. But when we look at the reptiles, we actually see hooves way back before the asteroid. So today there are no reptiles with hooves. We think of mammals, ungulates, artiodactyls, but it hasn't always been that way. Lastly, they learned that these aren't actually mummified animals in the sense that the soft tissue is preserved. It looks like the soft tissue is preserved, but this actually seems to be a really fine layer of clay. And they think they figured out how this happened and why it keeps happening to Edmontosaurus and the Mummy Zone. So Edmontosaurus, they seem to be an animal that was really frequenting rivers. Triceratops, we don't find them as often in this Mummy Zone. We think that's because they were further inland. So they think that on some occurrences, maybe during droughts, kind of like what we see with elephants, there would have been lots of these large animals that die, and then it leads to an abundance. And scavengers, they don't really have a need for it all. So those animals, those elephants, they will kind of slowly decompose. And they think what happened here is that the skin was drying out, there was some bacteria on it, and then it was covered in some type of a flood event. After that, they think that the biofilm electrostatically reacted with the clay and essentially pulled this clay in to create this really tight seal that eventually was preserved, and that is what we are seeing when we are seeing what looks like skin. It's just this really well-preserved impression in this really fine clay. Just a quick reminder, if anyone wants to support me, I do have a subscriber-only option. It's $2.99. Ever since school started back up, I've been extremely busy, haven't been able to make as many videos. So sometimes stuff like this, I just want to share it, so I made a short one last night and posted it.